I'm Dee Dee McAllister, and this is my leading moral theory. I thought that I would address this by going through the different theories that I considered as my leading moral theory, and then explaining my favorite and why I chose it. There will be some specific cons of these theories that I will address within my favorite to show how it deals with those cons. This is an image of Chidi from The Good Place. Chidi is the black man in the middle. He is a moral philosophy professor, and he is a huge fan of Kant. He is a follower of deontology, and he is currently experiencing a physical reenactment of multiple versions of the trolley problem. That's why his face looks like that. So, right based ethics, obviously, as a person of multiple marginalized communities, I care about rights. I find them to be a necessary conversation that should be held with purpose. That being said, right based ethics is a little loosey goosey, and it has a lot of room for exploitation. It wastes resources. Utilitarianism, all beings included. Again, the theme of my marginalization. I appreciate that it's not anthropocentric. I appreciate the focus on social reform. I'll go into this more with deontology later. I appreciate that it includes consequences. I think that those are necessary. I think that there is a middle ground with consequences and considering them, but I appreciate that they're included. The weighing of harm and benefit, I think that that is a reasonable argument. But this is another fairly rigid school of thought, this obsession with utility, thinking that happiness is a universal goal for everybody, that everybody is in the pursuit of happiness and solely happiness. And being solely related to consequences, again, I don't think being solely based in consequences, I find that to be extreme. I also don't like that it uses people as a means. That example at the end of the utilitarian section about the the trolley problem that that judge had to experience, in which you either kill one man to save many or kill many to save one. I Both that man and the judge were used as means. Didn't like that. When I heard that put into perspective, I fell right off the utilitarianism train. Deontology relating to Kant. I like a lot that goodwill is directly proportionate to self-esteem. I appreciate that it it reminds me of this idea that people who are self-assured won't feel the need to put you down because they are comfortable with where they are. They won't step on others to get where they need to go. They believe in themselves. I also like that it's based on reason. I find that I try to look at things from both my own personal emotional perspective and a more worldly objective perspective. Something that I got somewhat out of utilitarianism, but I found that, again, explicitly focusing on reason resonated more with me. That being said, this one explicitly lack of flexibility. It sacrifices community for the individual, not about that. It's anthropocentric, not about that. It ignores consequences completely. There's got to be a middle ground. There's got to be a middle ground. I feel this way about the disease model versus the moral model for addiction. There's got to be a middle ground. I don't think it's 100% consequences. I don't think it's 0% consequences. I think we've got to be somewhere in between. And I don't appreciate the categorical imperative. Act only on that maxim by which you can at the same time will that it should become a universal law. Talk about a lack of flexibility. Didn't appreciate that. However, deontology relating, to prima facie duties to W.D. Ross. This I appreciate. I like that it doesn't use people as a means, like how deontology doesn't. I like that there is flexibility based on the situation. I find that while there is, I think that in the search for a universal ethical law, I imagined at first that that means there must be like the Ten Commandments, and like that must be it. So to hear that there could be a system for outliers explicitly, wonderfully tangible guideline for me to reference. A problem with a lot of these theories was that they are incomplete or that they are like wishy washy. I find the section of duties to be incredibly helpful. Like with my dilemma, personal experience, I had a friend's birthday, a dear friend of mine, and my uncle's birthday. Love my uncle. He's basically been raising me since I was 16, 17. So they both ended up on the same day. I got the date wrong, and this sucks because my friend is one of those people who doesn't celebrate her birthday because she's afraid of being let down, because very often people forget her birthday. I'm pretty sure I have forgotten her birthday in the past before we became this close. So I'm really looking to make it up to her. I'm talking about her birthday with a friend, talking about setting it up. Boom, I realize that they're on the same day. Now, this is like the obvious answer is to go with my blood relative. But in a handful of ways, this seems very selfish. It seems selfish because this is not just a regular birthday party. I was supposed to help host. We were going to decorate. There were going to be little events. Like it was going to be a more structured party than you're just come on over and have some snacks and watch a movie. I would do presents and cake. There were going to be events. So this to me is the duty of fidelity, a previous plan that should take precedent. My uncle, he's in his 60s. Hopefully, he has many more birthdays still. And he's family. I see him all the time. She's a friend. I rarely see her. However, gratitude for me took precedent here. She is a good friend of mine. This birthday was very important to her. I had a lot to set up. I still helped set up. I still bought things and helped put the party together. But I found that it was more important for my family, for me to be there, because I am I think I'm my uncle's only blood, secondary family member who he is in contact with. For me, he is my only parental figure that I'm in consistent contact with. He's raised me for a long time. He's not just like a distant secondary family member. This is a man who has done everything that he possibly could for me for a little under a decade now. So that took precedent. And all I could do was apologize, explain that I understood that I made the mistake. But if I was asked to, I would then have to explain, that's my uncle and he means a lot to me and I owe him a lot. So I'm going to be there for him on his birthday. So deontologies with duties wins. I was literally able to reference the chart and find exactly what issues I was dealing with and decide how to rank them based on how I felt about them. And they even were in different sections of the chart. Wonderful guideline. So deontology with duties wins. Thank you.